everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the All Elite On Review. So that's the thing we got to keep running with. Your weekly AEW Post-Show breakdown here at BC WrestlePod. My name is Mikey. I am El Jefe of BC WrestlePod. I run the ones and twos, and I lead an incredible group of individuals through our weekly show of professional wrestling. Joining me this evening, of course, is the one and only longtime fan, and now more recently a part of the madness. And I'm glad he decided to stay through it all. But Mr. Benny the Bear is in the house. Happy to have you here tonight, my friend.
Happy to be here, Mikey. Greetings and salutations, YouTube world, and wherever else we're streaming. Let's rock and roll.
Heck yeah. So it is going to be the two of us tonight to go through this past week of AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision. But before we do, as my lovely friend was saying, we are on the YouTube and we are also on the Twitch and the Kick, where that is where you can find us, and all the good stuff is where you can see our lives and our edited reviews. We also are on the social medias at BC WrestlePod, so where you see our report cards, our previews of the weekly shows, as well as some other fun stuff that goes down, And then on top of that, we have some merch available for purchase, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com, and ever so often in the Twitch and the YouTube chat, the coffee bot will be there if you want to donate to help us pay for all these subscriptions that we pay for to watch wrestling. It is manageable, but every little bit counts, but no pressure, as we know that times are tough and it is crazy out here in 2026 here in the world that we live in. Alrighty, now that I got it out of the way, because I wanted to keep it short and sweet, there was a lot of things that happened on Dynamite and Collision, and I really want to get into it. So I cannot wait to talk about this. So let's just jump straight into it. So let's get into AEW Dynamite, as I am calling it. So you know what? I was like, this was a pretty paced show, and I was like, by the time we got to the end of it, I was like, wow, that was 2 hours. That was crazy. This is like, I will say it, this AEW Dynamite so far this year has felt very purposeful. It's just like, wow, so they not really are overloading the card, not like throwing everything at us, though they reserved that for the main event, which we're going to talk about, because I was just like, oh Lord, I cannot wait to talk about the main event. But yeah, also Denver, Colorado, y'all my peeps, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But let's talk about what kicked off Dynamite, which was this banger of a match. Now, it doesn't say here on the card because I couldn't find it, but this technically was a AEW Continental Championship Eliminator match. Jon Moxley going up against the Don Callis family's El Clone. Again, we are building towards Takeshita and Moxley and their no time limit match for the Continental Championship at Revolution. And by God, I had a good time with this match. I thought it was a lot of fun, and Moxley is just going to continue to beat up people on his way to Revolution, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely. I'm always here for a good Moxley butt whooping. This El Clone, like, I really wasn't aware of him when he was, right? Was it?
Correct.
Yeah, hologram was
Arameus, depending on how you pronounce it.
Okay, I only see the spell. It's one of those things.
Like, I can read.
I just need to sound it out. Like, I don't even know how that works. That doesn't make any sense to me. How did you do?
I was just like, how do you keep defying the laws of physics and gravity every single week? But you know what? I'm here for a good time.
And Mox was motivated as heck in this one. Like, I really like this Continental run, because like he's not the world champion anymore, so he can have a little bit more fun.
Oh, absolutely. And it does seem that Moxley has been having a good time with this run as Continental Champion. And it's been really, really fun. Again, this is another match that was a lot of fun. We said this last week, we're going to continue to get iterations of Moxley one-on-one with Don Callis, family members, and then ultimate trios and 4-on-4s like we saw in Collision, all to get us to Takeshita and Moxley for Revolution, but I'm here for it. And this is really fun to watch, putting on good matches, and I can't complain. Moxley does win here, though, so El Clone, you tried your best, but it wasn't enough. Oh, man. We're going to talk about more about everybody involved later in this show and on Collision, because Death Riders and Don Callis family, they're all over the place. There's a lot of them. A lot of these members are in action over the course of these two shows, so we're going to continue talking about it. But yeah, this match ruled. I loved it. Now, Swerve Strickland, we need you to come to the stage because we gotta talk about this promo because Swerve is out here on his villain shit. He is on his I'm gonna call everyone and their mother out on their nonsense villain stuff. And I'm just literally calling out Kenny Omega, calling out everyone in the back, calling out your mom. Like, I was just like, oh Lord, what are we doing? So
yeah, that was my only hiccup was that, like, even though, like, that drunk guy was yelling, he still, like, made everybody laugh, like, but then course corrected and got him booing again. So good on him, man. This was great. I think Swerve is definitely a better heel than he is a face. Like,
there seems to be more to go with Swerve's character and what kind of stories you can tell when he is playing the role of the heel. And I like Swerve as face, but heel Swerve is where it's at. That's where the bread and butter is for me.
yeah, a while ago, like, when they were at Comic-Con, one of them, Swerve was asked which DC villain he would like to team up with, and he said Victor Zsasz, and I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, Swerve is reclaiming the title of the most dangerous man in AEW. However, my baby daddy Brody King has otherwise feelings about that. And he, you know what? I was just like, look, we are getting Swerve and Brody King at Revolution, and I am not going to complain. And I was just like, yes, Swerve is amazing, and plus I get to see Brody King in action. Tony Khan, just give me everything I want. I'm going to be in attendance. Spoil me, please.
I love that they're keeping these two together. Like, he was just like as a hype man. Like, I love it.
I do too. I was just like, keeping Bro Dito a thing makes me feel so happy. And nobody had to turn, and I didn't have to cry because they would no longer be tagging together. They are true besties, and both. We're gonna talk. Well, Bandito, as of right now, is just like, I'm glad that you're hyping up Brody King. And then I started crying tears of joy later when we get there. But we're gonna wait until that moment happens, and then we'll discuss. But Swerve and Brody King are on a collision course towards Revolution, and I am looking forward to it all. You know what? I know I talk a lot of crap about Gabe and how this feud with Darby is just like, it's a thing that's happening. Orange, first of all, I was laughing hysterically at that like milk carton-esque lost poster for Roddy with a $15 gift card reward for upon finding him. And I was just like, now the real question is, where's this $15 going to? Because I will send everyone and send the hounds. We're gonna find Roddy. If it's like I was like, where's this $15 gift card to? Because I'm interested. But aside from the entrance, as far as this match goes, you know what? Again, I talk a lot of crap about Gabe, and I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of this feud because I'm like, I feel like we've been fighting forever with this.
Yeah, I have to say, like, that little promo that he and Clark cut like last week on Collision did a lot for clarifying who exactly the dogs are. They're no longer the war dogs, but they're the dogs, which I understand, copyright and all that stuff. But, like, this match was really, really fun. I can't really add that much more to it because you nailed it on the head. Like, they really worked well together, and Orange Cassidy can really work anybody because he's just that great.
It sets up everything that we're getting next week on Dynamite because then Darby comes out, and we come to find out later, we would learn about this on Collision, but we are getting Orange and Darby versus Gabe and Clark tomorrow night on Dynamite. So I'm like, ooh, I cannot wait. It's going to be fun. So
I'm here for it.
I am too. And honestly, again, I wasn't the biggest fan of what we were getting, but you know what? I am here for it now. Loved it. Kevin Knight beat Mansoor in like what I call a placement match because we were trying to transition and, fill in the time. And then Kevin gets on the mic and says that when Hangman wins the AEW World Championship from MJF, he wants a title shot. He asks his trio champion brethren that he would like the first crack at that. And I'm just like, now I don't know if I want to see Hangman win the championship. I love Hangman, but if we end up living in a world where Hangman does beat MJF at Revolution, Kevin Knight versus Hangman actually is going to be baller, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, it was actually sort of funny. Like, he sort of gave away he sort of spoiled everything, like, minutes before the MJF Hangman thing. But, like, I didn't even think about it at the time, because I was like, but, like, one thing I did like was that, like, the way that he's challenging Hangman for a match, which sets up, like, a little bit of doubt that Hangman isn't going to lose. I really like that. It's like it's just a little added layer to the story, and I like that a lot. And Mansoor, man, I wish he would be on TV more because he's a really great wrestler. Just
He
all
really,
around
really
great wrestler.
is. I will say though, the MXM Collection boys have had a really fun time the last couple of weeks because they've been in Mexico, which has been fun to watch too. Stay tuned tomorrow because Johnny Mundo is Johnny Baldo now because of what happened last Friday. But stay tuned for our review on Wednesday to talk about all that. And I'm going to send a text message out to the boys because this Friday is the Women's Day show in CMLL. And I'm going to talk about it at the end because we're having some of our AEW girls head on over to Mexico this Friday to do some stuff. And I can't wait to talk about that. So we're going to wait until the end. But Kevin Knight wants first crack. And Kevin, we're going to talk about you when we get to Collision because we kind of fast tracked that a little bit, but I'm here for it. First of all, I got to shout out to the graphics department. I love this color scheme and the graphics we're going for Revolution this year. It is neon graffiti. And of course you have, the LA landscape, the California palm tree landscape in the background. But this is where we find out where our stipulation is. I feel like it was a little overdrawn and we kind of took a long way around to where we were eventually going to getting. But what ended up happening in all of this is the fact that, we figured it out. MJF was going to toss a coin to figure things out. It goes in MJF's favor. And so that Texas Deathmatch was off the table. And then all the homies came out because they didn't believe MJF for 1 second. And then we find out it was a double-sided coin. So MJF cheated. And Tony Schiavone is just chilling in the corner this whole entire time, watching this unfold. And then when it's his cue, he gets on the mic and tells us, per the orders of Tony Khan, it is officially MJF versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Men's Championship in a Texas death match. And on the one hand, I'm excited because I'm a sicko and I love me some good violence. And I was just like, bleed, mother, just bleed. I was there live for Hangman Swerve Texas death match at Revolution all those years ago. So Lord knows that I was baptized in the sickness. Now, but like I said last week, my biggest issue with this is that to me, and I know AEW loves the Texas death match, it's become synonymous with Hangman, and I love it. But to me, MJF kind of needs to win this Texas death match to finally get a win over on Hangman, and which would also credibly be the better story going out of the Revolution. But we'll see what happens with all of that. I'm excited, but I feel like Texas death match is not needed for this feud.
Yeah, it's become sort of I wouldn't say a crutch, but like it's something that, well, I guess it's a crutch. It's something they lean on. And it seems to happen in almost every Hangman feud, right? Like, which isn't a bad thing, but like, figure out, I don't know. I like it. It does seem a little stale. But like, I love this whole segment. I knew he was up to something, and then he had a two-faced coin, and like I love it that like he was just like, all right, bye, and then like it goes.
He tried to Scooby-Doo villain his way out of there. The homies were like, nah, bruh, let's see this coin.
Oh man, that was played out perfectly.
I will say, I appreciated that from like a storytelling perspective because like the wrestlers as characters, they're not stupid. We know this is Max. He's gonna pull some shenanigans and some tomfoolery. And so it's just like, girl, get your ass back. And yeah, again, I'm still excited for it. I can't believe I'm saying this. AEW, let's pump the brakes on Texas Deathmatch. Let's like wait a couple months. Maybe bring it back, I don't know, at Wembley if we need to. But let's put a pause on it because we got a lot of Texas deathmatch since July. It's been crazy out here. So
it's not even in Texas. It's in Los Angeles.
I know. Just call it a bloodbath. Like, it's crazy. But right. For reals. Blood in, blood out. We're in Los Angeles. We are good. But then again, we don't want MJF and Hangman coming in and hoopties and everything because then I will yell cultural appropriation in the middle of the Crypto.com arena. But it should be a good match and I'm looking forward to it. But we got to keep this going because
yeah.
Damn, Penelope. Damn, girl. We were on a good run. We were doing good things. God damn. The best way to describe this match. God damn.
Yeah.
You could tell that they scrambled. They had to change the ending because Penelope got hurt in the middle of this match. I'm like, damn, what a shame.
Yeah, she's wicked tough though. Like, cause like she cut a promo, Megan and Lena, like backstage after the show. I guess it's not that big of a deal because it's like the arm, but it's her ankle, right? Her ankle?
Yeah, it's in her foot again.
Yeah, no luck, girl. I've already said enough about this on social media. So, but like this match started off great, and then it didn't. But they did a really. I thought they actually did a pretty good job about like covering. You know, like I don't mind a DQ finish, especially in this situation, because
Oh, absolutely.
nobody should be trying to compete while they're injured. Like I'm looking at you, Rick Knox, last week with Ishii, right? Like how many times does this have to happen with this one, the same guy? But like it was great. It was like I'm looking forward to seeing where everything heads right now.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, of course, we have options. Lena Cross is here, so we can get Megan and Lena teaming. You know, Marina Shafir is still in orbit, so that's always a possibility. Though I am excited because Tony Khan, there's one match that you might be planning for a Revolution, and I need you to confirm it for me so I can cry tears of joy again. But we're going to talk about Marina in a little bit when we get to Collision specifically. Also, Tony, I need you to put the social media promos on the program because my God, that Marina Shafir promo after Collision, I was just like, there she is. There's my bae. There she is. This is what I wanted, and we're finally here.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did you see it?
I was like,
It's only 4 hours of TV.
That's also very true. That is very true. But still, I'm just like, I was like this after I watched it. I was just like, yes, Marina, yes.
Yeah, that's the Marina I want on television. To be honest.
God, finally, I was just like, we've been building it up slowly, and now the floodgates are open. Let it rip. But yeah, so Babes or Wrath still retain. Penelope, you are one tough broad. We love you, and hopefully you won't be out for too long. So, man, I love this run in the West Coast. Y'all, listen, we have our issues out here on the West Coast and all the different things, but one thing we always will stand on the right side of history. I'm just saying. But enough about politics. Not to get too graphic here, but I was sweating and salivating this entire match. Benny, this was a Haas fight, and I was like, I need more of this, please. Can we get like more Haas heavyweight fights like this in AEW? Because this shit ruled. Like, my God.
And like, I guess you were thinking about switching to the carnivore diet, huh?
Listen, I am a person who loves to eat the meats. I also like to receive the meats, so I will take either or.
Like, man, I love that Davis was like selling the hand from last week during everything, but he was still throwing his whole body weight behind every run. So great. And like, what else can I say about Brody King except for push him to the moon, you know?
Seriously, push his man. We love Brody King, and I love him. He's fantastic. Brody does win this match. This was a great heavyweight fight. And then Brody gets on the microphone afterwards because he cuts his promo and he calls out Swerve. And he's like, listen, you claim to be the most dangerous man in AEW. Well, we need to settle this. So Revolution, Brody King calls out Swerve to have a match with him. And I'm like, yes, give me Brody King versus Swerve. And then Bandito grabs the microphone. I'm like, ooh, Bandito, where are we about to go? And so Bandito hypes up Brody King. And Bandito is so inspired that he's also looking for a fight with Revolution. And who should come out and answer? And this is where my little telenovela heart exploded with joy because we are getting Bandito at Revolution. Like, I was just like, listen, two Mexicans fighting it out. Andrade put it on social media that he wants this fight because he wants to test his mettle against what the internet has dubbed the best wrestler of 2025. And I'm just like, I am not worthy of this match, and I get it at Revolution. I cried.
Andrade's on a tear right now. Really funny was that, like, because the way that the arena was set up, they like pointing at each other from like this far away, you know, like it's pretty. I'm so here for that match though, man. Like Andrade is really on a tear right now, and we really haven't seen Bandito work in AEW since the match with Max. Like, oh, this is gonna be a barn burner for sure.
I am spoiled. I cannot wait. And I am mucho excited for Revolution. I was already excited for it, but now I'm even more excited. This is going to be fun. And I can't wait for these matches to happen at Revolution. But we do need to keep on going because the girls are fighting. Specifically, Okada is trying to make Takeshita jealous by taking the bestie. I'm here for it.
Yeah, this story has Kenny Omega's fingerprints all over it. You know, I love it.
So, says that him and Fletcher should team up on Collision. And I was like, I see you, Okada. Takeshita's going to have words with you as we get closer and out of Revolution. But yeah, so we're going to see Proto Okada together on Collision, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I'm just gonna, the next couple of slides, I'm gonna just play it, and then we're gonna discuss. So this was our main event, and this was the Mile High Madness Anything Goes 5-on-5 match. This is FTR and the Demand versus Jungle Jack Perry, the Young Bucks, and then Dez and Zachary Wentz of the Rascals. I'm just gonna let this picture be right here. We're gonna take a couple of moments to just take it all in. Okay, we got Anarchy of the Arena on free television is basically how I sum this up.
Right? Like, this was 5-way tag in the best way possible.
Just pure madness, pure chaos is the best way to describe this. I don't have any notes on this because everyone was everywhere and everyone was doing things, and my brain was trying to keep up with everything, but my God, I was entertained and I loved it.
Yeah, I actually only wrote down like 2 things in my notes because this was so damn entertaining that I couldn't take my eyes off of it for a second to write anything down, you know? But what I got was the Stoke spot, like him in the wheelchair at the top. And that's why they've been saving Myron, is just to have that spot, you know?
Ooh,
I came in and cleaned house.
So beautiful.
I understand why, because Myron is a cut above the rest.
Oh my goodness. This was such a fun match. This did end up having Jungle Jack Perry pin Ricochet, which tells me we're probably going to see him fight for the national championship again, which I don't mind it, but damn, this was a fun main event. And Denver, y'all got a good one. Y'all got the good one. And so the team of Jungle Jack Perry, the Rascals, and the Young Bucks do walk out as the victors. And more of this on TV, please, just in general. Like, wrestling is meant to be fun. Let's not take ourselves too seriously all the time. But yeah, that was our main event for Dynamite. And I enjoyed this Dynamite. It was a really fun one, for sure.
It was pretty great. And like, you could definitely tell that FTR has been itching to be in one of these PWG matches, you know, because they were going ham in this one.
100%. Well, that is it for Dynamite. So let's get into Collision, because there was also a lot that went down on Collision. And let's start off with what kicked things off for us, which is we hear from MJF. MJF is angry about what happened on Dynamite. I'm just like, you're just mad you got caught. Which then prompted to immediately get interrupted by Kevin Knight. And essentially what this happens for us here is that Kevin Knight gets a shot at the title tomorrow night on Dynamite. I'm like, okay. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm here for this. This should be fun. Can't wait for that match. But damn, we fast-tracked that one.
Yeah, that escalated quickly. I'm here for it. I love Kevin Knight, so let's do it.
Oh, 100%. I'm excited. Get Kevin Knight more rep times. This is going to be a lot of fun. This should be interesting. Can't wait for tomorrow night to see how it all goes down. But after our opening segment, we do finally get into our first match of the evening. Lord have mercy. This is a 4-on-4. The Don Callis family it was just good chaos and good fights. And this was just fun. Fun is the name of this episode of Collision because you had Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta, Josh Alexander, and Lance Archer taking on, the Death Riders, but with the iteration being Pac, Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, still rocking the beanie, which we're going to talk about later, and our CMLL World Heavyweight Champion, Claudio Casting. I had fun.
Man, these ones really, everybody works so well together because, they're great at what they do. And I really like to see this Josh Alexander versus, Daniel Garcia.
Oh, 100%. So this was a lot of fun. I had a good time with this one. And of course, it continues to further the feud that is happening with Takeshita and Moxley as we are heading into Revolution, which is going to be a grand old time, as the kids say. And yeah, the wrong one. I'm looking at my notes. And I'm like, wait, these are the wrong notes, you guys. I'm like, oh no, I'm looking at the wrong notes, and it's okay. It is what it is, as the kids are saying, so it should be fine. Anywho, but yeah, so the Riders, sorry.
My bad, I just wanted to say that. I really like the Death Riders out gear. Like, they're all like uniform, but a little bit different. I like that.
No, 100%. So I think I found the right notes, so. But yeah, Takeshita gets on the microphone, doesn't say anything, and just beats up Moxley. I was like, facts. This is like, just chaos incarnate. Alrighty, Let's keep this going because we got a Collision also put a lot of stuff in here. I'm like, you just have lots of wrestling to talk about.
Yeah, Collision goes.
That is also true. I'm not saying that it's Tommaso's fault or it's the graphics department. I was just like, damn, you look so tanned. Like, we need to stop taking tanning advice from Bronze Breaker. We need to stop it because we be looking really dark out here, you guys. It's crazy. But this is a tune-up match. Tommaso Ciampa versus Jay Lethal. Tommaso wins. Benny, I'm pretty sure we have to be getting Tommaso and Fletcher at Revolution again, right? Like, that's where we're leading?
I think it's going to be Briscoe and Briscoe had cut a promo like right before this, asking Ciampa to get his win back. Side me up with that. And this was fun. I like that they played off the ROH TV title history. And for those people who say those kind of things don't matter, maybe to you. I really like this match. My only complaint was that they sent Jay Lethal out cold without a promo for the people to get behind him or boo him, whichever way, or get some heat. So like the crowd had no idea what to do with Jay Lethal. And it was a well-worked match, but it was like zero. The crowd could not care.
Yeah, I'm just like, I love Tommaso, but I was just like, it was here. I still enjoyed it for what it was. This week and next week, we have 2 weeks until Revolution to see how we build up Tommaso, if he's going to be at the pay-per-view at all. So we're going to play the waiting game and see how this goes. Yeah. JVL is not here because I want to see some people fight because it makes good content. But we get a vignette from the Inspiration, and they will be they call out the Brawling Birds, and they are going to fight them next week on Dynamite. So we get the in-ring debut of the Inspiration, and JVL is not here because I wanted to see you two fight because I'm petty. Because, listen, JVL is biased. I'm a little biased too. We love the Inspiration. We have since WWE when they were the Iconics. They also hold a special place in our hearts because it is them who gave us the, no pun intended, inspiration to start the BC WrestlePod all those years ago. And you know what? Harley Cameron singing their theme song is also a bonus to me because that girl is talented AF. With that being said, I will defend them and I love them to death. But I am also petty. And I also agree with you, Benny, because as somebody who has watched their most recent run in TNA and how that all went down, I can confidently say that it was not good. Now, the booking definitely did not help, but I don't know what it was with these two, but the in-ring was not where it needed to be. And it was crazy because it was vastly different than their first run in TNA, like a year and a half before their second run, before they finished up recently. So I'm a little bit on both sides. I will fight for these girls, but I also agree that right now they have not been the best in ring, but hopefully we'll see how this goes. But anyways, Benny, you can give your thesis now. I've talked way too long.
Honestly, I'm just going to save you the effort because I don't want to fight tonight. All I will say was, sure, it worked 6 years ago, whatever. It was very one-trick pony 6 years ago. So, and I was a fan back then, but come on, man. Spice it up. Change it up, you know.
And on that note, we will see them debut in ring on Wednesday. So we shall see. Speaking of the Brawling Birds, they had a tune-up match. They win. I don't really have a lot to add. Though I will say, go for it.
So I was just going to say that Becca got a lot of work this week, which is pretty rad.
For reals. Listen, we love that Tony Khan allows a lot of these independent wrestlers to come in and do these kinds of matches. I was just like, it could lead you to good things. Look at the case for Hyann and Maya World. I'm just putting it out there. When you work hard, good things will come to those who put in the work, and we love that. But anywho,
yeah, unless you used to be in WWE 6 years ago, and you just jump right over everybody.
Be like, ooh, I was like, you said we weren't gonna fight. No, I'm just kidding. Gosh darn it, Bedford cheese. No, I'm just kidding. So
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself on that one.
How dare you be funny and do a bit? And I appreciate it. No, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And now, of course, they're fighting the Inspiration next week. Both of these girls are going to be busy the next 2 weeks, of course, because first of all, we have Jamie Hayter, who's going to be at this upcoming, it's this upcoming Friday for the Eve show on Friday. And then Alex Windsor is going to be fighting the at Wrestle Queendom, and I was just like, oh, we gotta figure it out. I still gotta figure out who's going to be doing that review next Thursday, but I'm excited.
Well, you know I'm in. I'm really looking forward to that. There's a match with Jamie Hayter on Friday. Eve has a show on Friday, and it's Jamie Hayter versus Miyu Yamashita. And oh my God, is that going to be a hard-hitting affair? But I digress. This was fine. Like I really like what they got going here with the Brawling Birds. I love that they're using the heart attack that they're calling like two birds with one stone or whatever. You know, I like where they're going with it. And sometimes things take time to marinate. So if it doesn't work right away, just keep plugging at it. You know that.
No, there's no harm in it. But I'm excited for these girls this weekend, and we're going to see how everything turns out. Well, tomorrow night, actually. So we'll see how this all goes down. But moving on, Proto Kata versus Top Fly. This is a pretty good match, too. Top Fly, I love y'all. I don't want to see more for you, but we knew what this was, and I still enjoyed it. I do appreciate this.
Yeah, they seem to be found their place on the card, and that's fine. But this match was really fun. Like, you get Okada doing Okada things, and Fletcher being a jerk. And there was like a Canadian Destroyer that I think Kyle had hit on Darius, and like the sell on it was absolutely ridiculous. I love the Top Flight brothers, the Martin brothers. They're so good, man.
They are, and this was a lot of fun. This was a fun match. I agree with you. This was to get Proto Kata over. Well, I don't even want to say over, but it's taking the next steps in the Okada feud. It is crazy out here. But what makes this even crazier is what happened after the match, because of the fact that, you know, Jet Speed come out and they challenge. Well, because Proto Kata said that they're the best tag team. Jet Speed has a different opinion, but then this ends up being a challenge for the Trios Championship, because Speedball challenge is Proto Kata to find another person, and they will put the Trios Championships on the line. I'm like, what is happening right now? I was like, all right, then, here we go then.
Yeah, I like that everybody is sort of like mixing it up with everybody right now, at least on the men's side. You know, it's pretty good. I like that. You know, I forgot to say this about the world title scene, is that, like, you know, you got your world Hangman's like challenging for the world title, but there's like a whole bunch of people like just on the boil that like could challenge Max at any time. It's really great.
So I'm excited. Whenever we're going to get that Trios Championship match, I look forward to it. Should be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait. So we keep it going. Yeah, like I said, this is what happens. We love it. Zeta Steel, the girl you are. Into your short time of being part of AEW, you get to fight Timeless Tony Storm. I'm like, girl, this resume is going to be looking great for you. But we get Timeless Tony Storm versus Zeta Steel. This was also a lot of fun. The match itself was really, really good. Benny, I do want us to talk about it a little bit before I go into the next picture, because the next picture, it made me laugh hysterically. But what did you think of Tony Storm and Zeta Steel?
I thought it was really good. There really wasn't much to it because it was sort of like a 3-minute squash. Like, Zeta is somebody that was on everybody's radar before the WWE ID thing. So like it's not a surprise that like she wound up where she is. And going from Tubi TNT.
Not a bad upgrade indeed. Timeless Tony Storm does pick up the win here. Marina Shafir does jump her, which was fantastic to watch because we're continuing that feud. Wheeler Yuta tries to get involved, and I'm just going to let this picture be here for a little bit. Never change, AEW. Never change.
Yeah, right.
Be like, he is shaving, and it's actually looks really good. I'm not going to lie. I was like, yes, not gonna lie, looks a lot better than Johnny Mundo's. And I could say that because I watched it all.
Yeah, I love that they were milking this for all it was worth. And they didn't let it go on for too long. You got to know, it's all about timing, you know?
So this was fantastic. And we already brought it up earlier, but the Marina Shafir promo she cut on social media, it seems we might be getting Tony and Marina Shafir at Revolution. And I am excited. And I need Tony Khan to not deprive me of this. Don't do this to me, Tony. Don't do it. Because then we're going to fight. But not really. I'm excited, though. Yeah, I hope we get that match at Revolution or sometime soon. Because that is, we've been kind of dancing around it. Let's do it. Anyways, moving on. This is the only thing I hated about Collision. What are we doing? What happened? Like, did we just drop Max and Anthony out of nowhere? I mean, I wasn't a fan of where we were going anyways, but I was like, what are we doing? What is happening?
Yeah, whatever they were trying to do really wasn't working, and this might be worse.
Anthony, I don't wish for people to leave a company because like I honestly don't know if any other company is going to, maybe the mid card. I would like to see him a world champion when we get him up there eventually, but I feel like he's been in AEW long enough. Tony, what are we doing? Listen, the Acclaimed will forever be a thing that happened, and I love the Acclaim, and that was a really fun chapter of AEW. But we need to start pushing Anthony to other things, like push him in the mid card title, have him have a feud. Like, why are we not? Because, and I said this yesterday during the Elimination Chamber review. Kilt and I talked about, we love Danhausen, and the internet is stupid. But both companies do this really badly. If you have people on your roster, and this is where the problem lies with you, Tony. I love you, Tony, and AEW forever and a day. But you have such a big roster, and you don't have a lot of TV time every week to utilize everyone. But don't shelve people and not utilize them. Like, I want to see them in action. I love Anthony. But when I asked him for him to be put on television, this is not what I wanted, Tony. This is Anthony Khan. This is not what I wanted.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of signing a bunch of people and then just putting them on the shelf. Like he loves to bring up the fact that wrestling, Tony is who I'm talking about. Pronouns, pal. Tony loves to talk about how wrestling, there's no off week. It's 52 weeks a year or whatever, Then why are you not cycling out people? Okay, if you have like a roster of like, let's just say 700 dudes and 40 women, right? This isn't like I'm not going into the men debate, but like what I mean is that like you don't have to have the same group of people challenging for all the titles all the time. Everything is incredibly stale right now because we're seeing the same acts, but they're not moving forward. Like it's ridiculous. Like push somebody else that hasn't been in WWE or in New Japan. Well, I give them 30 seconds, they blow it, they never come back. Like, yeah, because you didn't give them any time to shine. But why is he doing Taz stuff? Like, he's not Taz. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like a tribute act. Like, it's just a cover band with a bad haircut. Rant done.
No, I'm with you right there. I meant, Tony, it's not what I meant. Anyways, let's get into it. So we are speed running this feud with Tech Thunder because we called it. We're like, she's got to go through both Sisters of Sin, and then she will like a video game. She will earn the right to fight Tekla for the championship. This is a tag team match. The Sisters of Sin versus Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa. Again, still love seeing Thunder Rosa. Out here again. I love her to death. I'm so happy she is back from injury. This is a really good match. I like this one. And I was surprised. I shouldn't have been surprised because where we're going to be tomorrow night for Dynamite. But I was very surprised. I thought we were going to get Thunder and Tekla for Revolution. But no, we're going to be getting Tekla and Thunder in Texas tomorrow night. And I was just like, it's going to go one of three ways. Number one, the added true to wrestling, the hometown hero, the hometown person never wins, so Thunder is going to lose. Thunder wins in her hometown to shock the world, or we get some shenanigans. And so those are the three options that I've learned for the AEW television. Well, wrestling in general. But as far as this match goes, I love the Sisters of Sin. Chris and Thunder are great. I had fun with this. I don't really have too much complaint because
this is uninspiring. I'm glad to see Thunder back because I'll always be a big Thunder fan. I'm a ride or die for Thunder. This just seems really lazy. That's all. Like
it is, and I'm just like, we still have 2 weeks, so even if it was a short-term feud, you could have. So Thunder beat Julia last week. You could have had Thunder and Sky this week. Then you could have developed where the Sisters of Sin and Tekla like beat down Thunder, and then Chris comes, and then you could have set up this tag team match, which then leads us into a championship match for Revolution. But I'm like, we are speed running this. This is a 2-week program, and Tony, I love you, I really do, but do better for the women's division. Why are we having 2-week feuds? This is not great. I'm not the biggest fan, and I'm just like, it's lazy, like you said, it's lazy, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's like, what? We're going to get the title match tomorrow, and then something screwy will happen, and then they'll have a rematch at the pay-per-view involving Chris Thunder and Thekla. You can see the writing on the wall, and it's gross and it's lazy. Like, if you could put as much thought as you did into the main event scene, there's no reason why you can't put the same amount of effort into this. And like, it's like Thunder. What does Thunder and Rosa and Chris Statlander have in common? They were both champions and they're women. Oh, great. The WWE route. Like, they're both good guys. So that means they're friends.
Yeah.
Lazy.
It is. That is it. Do better, Tony. Do better. So we're getting this match tomorrow night, and I'm just like, I'm so mad. I wanted to see Thunder and Tekla fight in Los Angeles, but whatever. All right. Let's keep it going, because we go from that to this. I was like, damn, Ishii, learning what has come out, that you have a whole neck injury. I was just like, sir, looking back at it now, it's just like, why did you do this to us? But also, thank you for giving us entertainment, but why did you do that to yourself? But damn, this was a fun main event. Ishii, fantastic stuff. Loved it. No complaints, no notes.
Yeah, this was fantastic. The only thing I want to say is that, like, it's almost like, if you take the foundation of a building, everything else is going to collapse, right? He strained his hammy and then hurt his neck. Who is that on? Not me, that's for sure. This match was absolutely great. Like, Becca again with the hat on, a little peck on the cheek from Andrade was pretty funny. And even he was like, "Well, this was," and like, she is like one of those guys that, like, I read a great article the other day that was like, not big enough to be like
a meeting on Sunday.
So, Mikey, your mic's on. So, like, Ishii's like not that type of guy that's like gonna be challenging for the world title. Like, he brings something special out of everybody because he's relentless. So one of my favorite sellers as well. Like, at the New Japan show, I feel like Ishii like stumbles back into the ropes and then like comes out and he's just like wobbly leg. Like, I love the way that he sells, man.
So this was a fun main event. Andrade wins this, and of course, again, the Bandito and Andrade match is officially made for Revolution, and I'm crying tears of joy. I was like, honestly, I think this is my match I'm looking forward to the most so far at Revolution. Now, we still got 2 weeks, so who knows what AEW is going to have in store for us. There, we might see some things happen, like, unless we get it on TV, the Rascals have won an eliminator match, so does that match at Revolution become a triple threat? Do we see FTR and the Rascals fight before Revolution? So we probably are going to get we're going to get Jungle Jack Perry and Ricochet. There, who knows what we're getting for a women's championship match? Like, do we get a tag team match? Do we see Willow defend the team? There's so many options here, and we got 2 weeks, so I'm very interested to see where Tony goes for Revolution. Not even gonna lie, but that is it for our post show for AEW. Before we do our regular sign off, the AEW crew, or at least the talent in AEW, especially the women, are going to be super busy. And why, do you ask? Well, this Friday, CMLL is hosting their International Women's Day show. So that is the Night of the Amazon. So the show this Friday for CMLL is all women's wrestling. But it's not just the CMLL talent. We are getting a really fun crossover because not only do we get to see some of the Stardom girls come on over from Japan to Mexico, and it's not just like the cool, like I'm happy to see them girl. No, these are some legit girls. Like, we have Micah, Starlight Kid is gonna be there, and I'm just like, oh, we pulled some fucking heavy hitters for this one. But that's not it, because we also have some of our AEW girls coming on down to Mexico this Friday to work some matches. So I'm excited because part of this includes Mina Shirakawa is going to be down there. She's going to have a match. And I am pulling up the card because I want to make sure I get this correctly, because it is going to be a crazy card already, because it is CMLL, AEW, and Stardom all jumping into the mix with this one. But Mina Shirakawa is going to be there this Friday. The last time we saw Mina was when she was part of the Women's Amazona Grand Prix over the summer, which was fantastic. But Mina Shirakawa is going one-on-one with CMLL's Zooxies, so that match is going to be crazy fun as well. But then, in what is being touted as the Battle of the Meats, this is going to be crazy, so get ready for this one, Benny. because we have going one-on-one CMLL versus AEW. We have the mega sis, Megan Bain, making her Arena Mexico debut on AEW television, but she is going to be taking on Olympia. And I'm just like, good God, I am not ready for that. That is going to be,
oh man,
God, big meaty women. Love to see it.
So I actually saw that one, like that graphic earlier, and I was like, wow, that's going to be incredible. And I'd also like to add, if it's all right, that on Sunday, Pro Wrestling Eve, no, actually Friday and Sunday. Friday is a show called Women Behaving Badly by Pro Wrestling Eve, which is a feminist punk rock British wrestling promotion. And Wrestle Queendom, which is Sunday. I'm getting ahead of myself. Friday, and also Jamie Hayter versus Miyu Yamashita, which I mentioned earlier in the show.
This gets one of these because I'm like, bitch, let's go. I was like, girl, this is going to be a lot of wrestling. That match in particular, they're going to hit hard, and I'm here for it. And then to kind of close it all out, Mercedes Moné is back in Arena Mexico. She will be defending the CMLL Women's Championship against Persephone. So that should also be a good match. Lots of good wrestling, lots of women's wrestling this weekend, and I am so looking forward to it. It's going to be, as the kids say, it's going to be good shit. So lots of stuff out there for everyone, but so I'm excited.
I was just going to say, on Sunday is Wrestle Queendom, and the top 3 matches are Chris Statlander versus Charlie, the formerly known as Dakota Kai.
Can't wait.
As we found out on the New Japan New Beginning, and Harley Cameron versus Amira Blair, and what is sure to be an absolute, I don't even know what to expect from that, actually. Those two are going to tear it down, or it's going to be really funny.
It really is.
It's going to be amazing.
And then on top of that, too, lest we forget, you also have the winner of, the Rumble that Eve has. Session Moth Martina will be facing for the championship against Rio. And I'm just like, oh, Lord, here we go. That should be a really good match, and I'm really excited. So, but, well, I guess I can announce that. We can announce this here. So we're talking about the show that is happening Friday and Sunday, but specifically the Sunday show, Wrestle Queendom 8. We can officially announce that we not only have a new a post-show team for this, which we're going to officially debut Thursday, but we are going to debut this new team, and we're going to have our inaugural post-show by covering Wrestle Queendom, and we're going to be doing that show next Thursday. So I am excited. And so, I'm going to be here doing all of this, but Benny is going to, I will be here. We will co-do this, but Benny is kind of quote unquote taking the lead for the Eve, the Eve team. And I am so happy to add more independent international wrestling to our thing. It is great.
There's a lot of crossover.
There is, and I cannot wait. And I'm going to send out the all call tomorrow and be like, hey guys, so who wants to be on this post show on next Thursday for this show? So I'm pretty sure, honestly, I would not be surprised that if schedules allow it to, we're going to have a lot of people clamoring for this, especially because it's women's wrestling. And as we learned from last year, women's wrestling carried 2025 and 2024 and 2020. Let's just put it, women's wrestling carries us every single year.
Yeah.
So
do better, Tony.
Yeah, do better, Tony. Do better, Anthony Khan. But I do love you. I really, really do. But please do better for the women.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Please do. We want to see better for them. It's great. Anywho, but that is going to be it for us tonight at the Ole Elite Ensemble. Look at that. Me and Benny managed to do an hour and 16 minutes. It's great. Just the two. But no, can't sing it because then we'll get copyrighted. No, we don't own the rights. Gosh, and we're not Tony Khan. We don't have millions of dollars to play the final countdown as Anarchy in the Arena is going on. But anywho, we still have a pretty fun week ahead of us. So tomorrow night is the double header of shows in which we have NXT and CMLL, which is going to be a lot of fun. So those shows respectively happen at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Pacific for NXT and CMLL. On Friday, we have our TNA show where at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, where we will talk about TNA and everything that is going down over there in total nonstop action wrestling. And then as well as the go home show for AEW is next week, where we will be talking about this week of AEW television and then making our predictions for Revolution. AEW 2026 pay-per-view season is finally here, Benny. We've been 2 months without a pay-per-view, and now we're jumping straight in because Lord is going to be a pay-per-view every single month all the way until the end of the year for AEW. And we are almost at the end of our predictions league too, because Revolution and Dynasty are on the horizon. So who is going to end up taking the top spot at the end of those two pay-per-views? Well, you're going to have to continue to tune in every single Tuesday to find out. But for myself and Benny and the BC WrestlePod crew, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll see you tomorrow for our doubleheader of NXT and CMLL. But until then, and until next time, peace.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.